Hey.
Hola, Facebook Live.
We in the building.
So, if you see the title,
you already know what it is, but we're going to wait for a few of you all to join.
You know, hop right into this. Today, you know, we'll be talking about, if you've been watching the news, if you have a phone.
Well, we want to wait because sometimes, you know, we get like a few minutes in and then, you know,
they're going off on us.
No, they don't know what we're talking about. So we'll wait for a few of you guys to join us. For
no content.
This is for YouTube purposes, just in case this video go. We got one person already. What's up to say? This is for YouTube purposes right here. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tiz.
I'm Yana.
Personal Praise.
That's us.
Yeah, we're Personal Praise.
And today,
go subscribe to our YouTube channel, Personal Praise TV.
Yeah.
You can see the other live at fives
that we've done.
We've
got a pretty interesting topics.
We got a few of them already up on our YouTube channel. Go to our website, mypersonalpraise.com. If you want to book us, you know, make sure that you guys go buy The Call.
Yes.
Our new single.
Buy that.
Yeah, The Call. It's everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, Tidal.
And if you're watching this, subscribe to our channel. Like all of our social media.
Yeah, like this Facebook page. If you're viewing this video, you can't view the video and not like the page. That doesn't work. What? I'm just saying that doesn't work. You can't view the video and not like the page that the video is coming from.
Pretty much. So, like, you guys see the topic. Today we'll be talking about the Charlottesville.
Yeah, the Charlottesville
Riots.
Riots.
That happened in
Charlottesville, Virginia.
My bad.
About a weekend ago.
Yes, and they're planning more. I've seen the place where they're planning. They're planning some in New York, Atlanta. I don't know how they're gonna do this in Atlanta, but they are planning one in Atlanta.
A riot? ATL riots?
Yes, they're planning one in somewhere in California. Really, I just saw Atlanta and New York that really stuck out to me because I don't know how you're going to do that in those places just because they are so culturally diverse. And you do it. So first, we want you guys to comment what you guys are thinking right now. And
then all of you guys who are joining us, make sure you share this video to all of your followers, friends.
Show all of your friends
on your Facebook
this video
page
so that they can chime in and give their opinion too. So we're at the point where we go ahead and just say it.
You guys did an amazing job at AIM.
Thank you.
Yeah, you want to hook up? Make sure you inbox us or, you know, Facebook. Message us on Facebook. Inbox us on Instagram. Is it DM on Instagram?
Yeah.
DM us on Instagram. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And share this video to all of your friends. Okay. We won't prolong it any longer.
Yeah.
Let's hop into this.
Because folks on our YouTube trying to get tired of us rambling. So.
I'm sorry we ramble, you guys.
About a third of the comments say why y'all ramble so much. So
yes,
I'm just gonna ramble about this so they can have more to talk about.
So comment y'all ramble, and then you can see we said we're rambling about rambling.
Yes. All right. So to further the topic, for those of you who guys keep up with the news and the time, about Friday, Saturday-ish. Well, let's start with the first event around some church. I don't know the name of it in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yes.
Some Ku Klux Klan associate members.
Yes.
Come out with none of that white stuff on, the little white sheet and the little white mask. No. That is not on. They're just out there with tiki torches.
Tiki torches.
Tiki torches.
They look like Dollar Tree tiki torches. Like they just, hey bro, let's go pick up some.
So, they're out there with tiki torches.
Tiki torches.
Circling a church.
Please share the video. If you're in our live right now, share. We see it growing. So, we want to grow it even more. Share this video.
Yeah.
Help us out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway, tiki torches outside of a church.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, fast forward to a day after that, there's fighting going on in the city of Charlottesville. And
even worse, there was a man who decided to ram his vehicle into
the crowd of people
protest against the KKK.
Hola, Miss Barbara.
Hola. The people, thank you for sharing. The people who they ran into a crowd full of people,
killing a person,
killing a person who her last Facebook post was literally, "If you're not speaking out, we look good. Thank you."
If you're not speaking out.
If you're not speaking out, you're not paying attention. That's basically, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. That's what her last Facebook post was before she died by the man literally just running over anybody And there were 19 injured.
19 other injuries.
1 person killed.
And 1 fatality in the incident.
Yes. This is if you're not keeping up with
this is
time.
not.
We're just
so,
catching
of
up.
course, when there's like a city with the state, city with the state of emergency, the president gets on and says, some speech,
his first speech, he stayed
addressing the issue.
He didn't address the issue, in my opinion. His first speech, he stayed pretty
mellow.
Yes, he stayed. What's the word for it? Like
neutral.
he basically, yes, he stayed neutral.
He didn't really call
pretty much
out.
Said,
basically, what he was saying.
Hate on all sides is wrong.
And he condemned in the strongest possible way, bigotry and hate and stuff like that. Basically. And it's too much hate on all sides or many sides. Basically, is what he said in the first one. So, I keep up with the news, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. And even on Fox News, which is a shocker to me.
It was a shocker.
You even hear people saying he didn't really call out what was wrong about the issue.
Right.
So he get back up for another address.
Basically.
Another speech. And this time he says that racism is wrong.
No, and he basically calls out everybody. He says, if you're a part of the KKK, if you're a part of this, he calls out everything, and he says, you're wrong if you're in it. Hello, all of our new viewers. If you are in this live, please share our live to all of your friends, all of your
Mr.
followers. Let them see what we're talking about as well.
Yeah.
He basically called out specifically the things. Now, then the day after that, I guess he was receiving, I don't know if he was receiving hate, but he felt to do a press conference. Like, he did a press conference after that, basically saying that if this is the case, this is the only thing I saw specifically. I don't want to quote him incorrectly, but he said, if we remove all of the Confederate, and that's what started all of this, them removing the Confederate soldiers statue. Robert E. Lee, correct?
I believe so.
Yes, Robert E. Lee's statue.
Hola.
Hello, Robert E. Lee's. Thank you for sharing our video. Robert E. Lee's statue in the park. They were going to remove it, and the white nationalists, that's what we're going to call them.
That's what they're calling them on the news, white nationalists. What
does that mean?
What does that even mean?
But
we'll get to that later. We're just recapping
we're just recapping. And basically, they are, what's the word I'm looking for?
You were saying the next day you had a press conference.
Yes, they were not happy with this. They were highly upset. They decided that they were going to protest, saying you cannot remove it, but it wasn't a peaceful protest, basically. They were, from the videos I've seen, they were all up in the cops' face. They had a disregard. We're not there yet. We just recapping. A disregard for what the police were telling them to do. There were only police out there. No National Guard. None of these people who we have seen before in protest. Just the police. And the people came ready to fight. They came ready to fight. They had riot gear on, which I thought was illegal. But they had riot gear on, ready for a riot in this protest. Okay?
Yep. Everybody
caught up? Yes, comment if you're caught up and you know what we're talking about. Comment if you need us to answer, or if you have something to offer that we forgot to say. Make sure you comment that. Okay.
So now we're going
the next day, President Trump comes out and says, "Well, if we're going to remove the statue of Robert E. Lee, why are we removing statues of George Washington? He had slaves." That's the only part I specifically saw him say. So that's everything.
Up to this point. So now we're going to give our opinions and our analysis.
Yes.
Which is hopefully what y'all can't see.
Hopefully. And
so,
not to bash.
We'll start with Yana. She's the lady. We'll let her go first on. What is her wrap up of this entire...
The video is, Can Christians Be Racist? And I've made it that title because a lot of times I hang out a lot of people who are very conscious, as they like to say, about the blacks in America and things like that, who are black, and they talk about things like this all the time. Most of them are not Christians, just because they say, how could you be a Christian under the religion that was introduced to you to keep you a slave? Because that was the first purpose of when they introduced Christianity to African Americans. They said that in the Bible they speak all the time about if you are a slave and this is your man, you respect him as such. So they basically said that because you are a slave, they would keep them Christians, make sure that everybody on the plantation were Christians so that they would, not want to run away, any of those things, because it will become their religious background. A lot of people I talk to say, how could you have that religion that was introduced to you to keep you basically a slave? Mm-hmm. But just because that was used wrong doesn't necessarily mean that the religion itself is bad. God said all the time that people will spew like his words. Hola, they'll spew his words to say certain things and twist it to their benefit, basically. But it's not the point I'm trying to make. Christians at first were racist. That's the wrong statement. But the KKK, many of these people, they claim their reason for doing this is because they were good, God-fearing people, right? And black people, you are not what God said you are supposed to be a slave. And so that's your place in life. So that's why I'm burning crosses and burning up your lawn and things like that. So back to what I was saying with everything. Can Christians be racist? The problem with Christianity and how it's portrayed in the media currently right now is that we are not what God wants us to be. We are not considered loving and caring and thinking about the needs of other people, right? Instead, for some reason, we are labeled as, what are the things that they usually say? I guess closed-minded for some reason.
Judgmental.
Judgmental and condemning to everybody that we come in contact with. We're seeing a lot of new people in the live, so if you are in this live, please share the live to all your friends. We're seeing a bunch of new people. Share it. Do us, make our heart warm by sharing this. And back to what I was saying, in the riots and things like this, the people who I would expect to speak up the most would be the church. But usually, in events like this, they are silent. They usually say nothing. And it makes you wonder. It makes people say, well, why aren't y'all saying anything? Why is the church not coming out and saying we support, or not we support anybody, but just why are y'all not doing the protest? Why are y'all not marching? Things like this. And I'm not saying this is what I think. This is what other people say that gives Christians kind of a bad name in racism and whenever things like this go on. And then they say, well, because most of the pastors are not participating in it and things like that, which really has no merit, but that's just kind of what they're thinking. So my opinion on things, and I'll first address what Donald Trump said. What he said made sense. And I know y'all about to go off on me for saying this. What he said made sense. He's saying at that time, slavery was a way of life. It was everybody had slaves. Black people were not treated as humans. So at the time, it was a way of life. What he's saying is making sense. If you're going to say tear down everything about slavery, then tear down everything, right? Let's get rid of everybody that promoted slavery. But the only problem with saying things like that and doing things like that is that, hola everybody in here, please share this video to all of your friends. Let them see it. Seeing new people, so share it. Let them know what you think about the subject and comment below what you're saying. Anyways, like I was saying, where was I at?
You was just saying Donald Trump saying that it's slavery. And
so what he said did make sense. And the fact of the matter is, they're going to make sure that the history of kind of slavery and everything that happened in it is kind of wiped out, and that segregation stays the main focus. Because thank you for sharing our video. Hold on, Mr. Person.
Yeah, Mr.
They're going to make sure we stay as segregated as possible. And what do I mean by this? Like I say this all the time when I'm talking about cultural appropriation, right? They'll make black people a trend, right? For a little bit of time. Then we get put on mediums and we become big superstars and we become models and we become these things just for a little bit of time, right? Then after 10 years from now, they'll say, well, we already did that idea. We already did that. So we can't really keep doing that again, basically. We're pretty much done with the little black phase of whatever it is we're going through. So then because of that, we'll either say, well, we'll just make black everything. We'll just make our own black network, or we'll just make our own black magazine, since they won't keep us in there. But really what we're doing, and intentionally, it keeps us separated. Like, it keeps us from being truly integrated. And I know y'all are going to go off on me in the comments because of this. And we're not going to blame it on whoever you think is purposefully doing this. This is just what happens. Because they make it, whoever is in charge of the magazine, TV, whatever, movies, make it a little trend for a little bit. Then we completely forget it.
Love you too, Mr.
Love
Person.
you. So what am I saying all this for? They're going to make this protesting thing, this big trend. They're going to make this whole KKK is real. They're going to make the whole Black Lives Matter is a trend, just for a little bit. And in the end, nothing ever really gets solved. Because we never really get integrated into what we're trying to get done. We never truly fix whatever problem we're having. And I know y'all are going to go off and say we deserve our own networks. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that in the end, we end up staying separated. And we never end up fixing anything because we make it a trend just for a little bit. So what do I think about the Charlottesville riots? The racists have never disappeared. They didn't just decide to pop up out of nowhere, right? And then surprise everybody like, poop, poop, thought we were gone. We're still here. And then say, okay, I think we're done being racist for a year. Let's go back home and stop doing that. They never went away. Why are people surprised that the Charlottesville riots are even a thing? Did you think that the KKK disbanded? Did you think that these white nationalists and white supremacists just disappeared out of thin air? They never left. I don't understand why people are surprised. But you saying you looking for the government to fix things, but not even telling them what to fix. What do you want them to say? Like, that's kind of how I'm looking at it now. What do you want them to do? Y'all comment with y'all. I'm dead serious. What do y'all want to say? A trend. Yeah.
A trend. All right. So, y'all know what's talking.
Tiz.
I'm going to talk.
It's all you.
So, I got a couple of things I want to just address about these Charlottesville riots. First thing is, and I don't know if y'all know, it's an Instagram page exposing these folks without these hoods on, just so y'all know.
Oh, yeah, they is.
I don't know what the page name is.
I think 3 people have already been fired because
they're
not wearing that.
You know, they ain't had a hood on.
Because
their faces
they
on social media. They done told them where they work, what their name is, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's crazy out here. So, one, I don't think that was definitely wise. You preaching, girl. You preaching, girl. You preaching. All right, so anyway.
Get on the YouTube comments. We're going to look down in these YouTube comments. You are a...
All right, so anyway, what I'm about to say. The first thing is, what is a white nationalist? I just took Facing History, and I thought nationalism, when people have an extreme like for the country that they live in.
Oh, come on. You
extreme
know that, the
just let me talk. Just,
okay,
I'm sorry. Here.
You never talked when I talked. I'm sorry.
So, nationalism is what they say in the history books. So, they say nationalism in the history books is when a group of people have an extreme love for the country that they live in, so they hate people who are not from the country. Basically. Like, nationalism would be like... So, I don't really understand how this is white nationalism.
If white isn't a country...
Well, I mean, even if you say white people have this country, but I don't really see how that would be white nationalism because they hate or really dislike black people.
Yeah, I don't. Are you trying to say that America hates? So I don't understand it. Y'all comment below. Y'all know everything.
I'm kind of confused because what I just see it as is, I guess, white supremacy or racism. Because I don't think necessarily that white racists or white supremacists want black people to leave the country.
No, they don't.
Because if that was the case, then there would be nobody to be, racist towards. It would just be all... So, white racist people will be racist. They'll find differences in, what country you're from.
Let me say some stuff.
We're going to add you in. We're going to add you in. So, anyway, yeah. So, I don't really think,
Poor white people. Kind of have some white people talking too, though.
Yeah. We're here at the studio with Mr. Joy Anderson.
He'll be in here in a little bit. Y'all don't go freak out. He'll be in here.
Basically, white nationalists, I don't think that's a proper name to call them because, I don't know.
It keeps them nice and
It's a nice name to call something that's not a nice act, I would say. Like, I would more so white supremacy because they're trying to, assert dominance over black people. What's up, y'all? Hope all is well. What's going on?
All is well. Oh, I see him. Oh, I see him.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, I don't know. That's the first thing. The second thing is, about what Donald Trump said at first about, it's hate on all sides. The only thing is that if he knows more information than we know, then he would know all the information that we know, plus more than that. So he would know that the riots didn't just start out of nowhere. And so, addressing the origin of it, addressing the origin of why the riot started. Now, the other thing is that, like Yana said earlier, this one thing, thanks y'all for sharing this video. Mm-hmm. This one thing is just, a riot.
Hey, Ma.
But it doesn't necessarily fix the issues that are causing the riots in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really fix those specific issues, doesn't really fix those specific issues, like the origins of, racism. And, if we're trying to be integrated, then the riot. Oh, I ain't seen her in a long time.
Hey, Jen, I ain't seen you in too long.
A really long time. Yeah. The next thing is, like Yana said, you got folks out there in riot gear, and you don't even see all of this. It's more government or more enforcement at a Black Lives Matter peaceful protest than you see at this Charlottesville riot. I mean, you got people literally fight against regular people with riot gear on, with the little shields and stuff. At first, I thought it was the cops.
Okay, but that's white privilege,
I think.
Now they gonna go off in the comments about this. Let me say this, sir. Can I please chime in? Tap in. White privilege is not that any white person in the world is doing better than any black person in the world. I don't know who came up with that, but that's not true. It's not even that if I want a job, then if I'm white, I'll get the job. That's not what it is either. It only means, thank you for sharing this video. Mwah, mwah. White privilege is only, the real definition, is only that white people have some advantages or privileges directly related to slavery. Like the things that they have, it's nothing that you can even measure. Like I can't measure, well, let's measure how much white privilege he has and how much he doesn't. Because there are privileges and advantages on all sides. It's rough on all sides. Everybody's got it hard. The thing is, the white privilege is just saying that there are some advantages that white people have that are directly related because of slavery. If slavery didn't happen and we just all came over here like immigrants, then this kind of wouldn't be here. So I know y'all gonna go off and y'all are gonna say white privilege doesn't exist. There's no such thing. But I mean, it's true. And
okay, so we don't want to make this too long, so we're gonna ask our fellow, our producer, Mr. Joey Anderson,
our fellow,
to join us. He has a few things that he wants to say. Did you just want to sit there?
Yes.
Okay. So,
sit here.
We're going to just,
flip it around.
Man, nobody wants to see me.
They're going to go out buying new equipment.
Production guys.
Go out buying new equipment. You guys don't even have equipment. That's what we should.
All right, so this is Mr. Joey, you guys. Hey, guys. Andre Appleberry, what's going on? So this is Mr. Joey. He has a few things he wants to say about this topic.
We're over here.
I just get riled up because people are idiots, I mean, it's just how it is. People are idiots. Black folks think whites are the racists. White folks think blacks are the racists. There's no difference. There's black racists, white racists, Mexican racists, Muslim racists. I mean, it's all Satan. It's all the devil. It's not about the people. It's about the lie they bought into. Black folks feel like white people are all out to get them. I hear my friends saying it all day long. My black friends, saying how horrible white people are treating them. and I know my friends, and I see the white people and how they're treating them. Ain't nobody treating them bad, you know. Then you got, and this is because y'all, majority of the audience, I'm sure, is not white. But some of my friends that are from a little further back, white guys, they're just country old white guys, and they say the most racist crap. Anything that has to do with somebody of color is a negative comment out of their mouth. And I tell them, shut up. Don't say that crap in my studio. And I say the same thing. I produce, music, produce rappers that come in here, me, the white dude, making them sound good, telling them everything, how to sing it, how to do it, making their track bump. And half of their song is how horrible white people are. I don't understand, So here's what I worry about. Racism been around forever on all sides. Like Trump said, there's people to blame on all sides. There's things, we didn't see that whole video where the crowd was beating on that car that ran into those people. I'm not justifying the moron running into the people, but they were hitting it with bats and flagpoles, climbing on it right before he took off to get out of them, So there's that. And then there are these people that are not police, like Tez was saying, riot gear. You know how expensive that stuff is?
You've been planning this.
Those people did not buy that riot gear. Those were some homely looking folks. They did not have the money to buy that riot gear. Somebody with some bucks bought them that riot gear and said, go out there and fight. Just like some of the other folks on the other side of it. There were people there that I know genuinely were protesting the idiotic white supremacists. That's what they are. That's what I'll call them, white nationalists, whatever. But they're white supremacists. That they were genuinely there to protest against that. Awesome. To protest, stop smacking each other. Stop throwing things at each other. Stop. It was weird to me. The thing that happened a while back, I forget where it was, at a college, where they trashed the college, throwing things, busting the windows out and everything because they were angry about something. I forget what it was. And they were busting out the windows and stuff of one of their own because they're idiots. It's an excuse. You look at other countries. You look at other countries and you've got such violence in the street. It's children, or can't go play outside because there's people throwing Molotov cocktails and blowing up,
all right.
But here we are in America getting like that. That's not okay, Stop seeing color. And I said this on my Facebook, do not let your fight against racism become racism. Stop saying white this, black this. Stop. Call the racism the problem, not the color of the person. It's not the color of the person because it comes from both sides. Call it racism is the problem. The sin is the problem, not the sinner. The sinner, God loves the sinner, hates the sin. We should love the human, hate what they stand for, Jesus said, love one another. It's plain and simple. That's it. That's the only sentence love one another. Stop the junk,
Yeah.
If I keep telling everybody that racism, you're not racist if you promote, hey, I'm black, I want to promote these black businesses that I know, or I'm black, I want to promote black actors or whatever. You're not racist for that. But, you really got to think about it. What if a white person put it that plainly?
But it's not the same, though. Now,
it is exactly the same.
Like, when you say stuff like, like, you can't see color or stuff like that. Like, that's really not, like...
I'm not talking about you can't see color.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, anytime people say, like, you can't see color, you can't, like, it's already happening. So it's one of those things, like, you can't say that, I just wish that we could all... I do, of course, you wish we could all love one another, but it's already history. Like, stuff has already happened that you can't...
That's like saying, because I'm going to get dirty again, I don't need to take a shower. We need to teach what God says, no matter what the world state is, no matter what those people think is the way it's got to be and how they think. If it was working, Yana, if the way black people are doing it and the way white people are doing it was working for everybody, we'd have this worked out. But Jesus' way isn't being done. The Word of God isn't being implemented. It's people doing it their own way. And it is failing crazy because they're just not doing that one thing. Love one another.
But love is an action word, so you can't just say, like, love one another. Love, that's... You just saying, like, love, that doesn't mean... And I'm not saying that's what you're... I'm just saying in general speaking. A lot of times people will say, well, the answer is just, love, and if we just love each other, we'll all be fine. And if
I'm just telling you, Jesus said
Right. And love, but love isn't just, I love you, Love is an action of saying, biting your tongue when you want to say certain things and sacrificing and being kind and being like... I got
all that, but what I'm saying is
out,
Jesus
like, a lot
said,
of times,
love one another.
I'll ask a white friend or a person that I go to school with that's white, and I'll ask them maybe, well, I don't really know about all of that, but I love black people, period. Like, but you won't say, well, do you think it's wrong? Well, I don't know about all of that. Like, that love doesn't mean you don't speak out and you don't say anything when you see wrong. Like,
but see, you're talking about that one person and what they said. I'm talking about what I just said and what Jesus said. Now, Jesus, he knows about it all. Mm-hmm. So his sentence, love one another, is the answer. Period. If we loved one another as Christ loves the church, that would fix everything. But of course, people aren't going to do it because people are people.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're not supposed to preach love one another. And that's the answer. That's the answer. Why do you think most of my clients and most of my friends... Well, I was the minister of music at an all-black church. I was the only white guy there. They made a joke that I was a snowflake in a mud puddle. That's what they called me at that church. And I was like, I don't notice, I'm at church, having church. But yeah, honestly, you notice because only white person in the church. When my daughter comes in, we're two in the whole church. And I'm up there leading worship, and I don't have as much soul as So, but I try my best, but it's still, it's just a matter of, I can say it because I am not prejudiced and I'm not afraid who thinks that what I'm saying is wrong because I'm quoting Jesus. I don't care what Trump or Obama or whoever says. Jesus Christ said, love one another. The end. That's the answer.
I'll have to
read
these later because I can't see.
I don't know how y'all even read any of that.
Like,
I see Rochelle
willing to lay down your life for people you may not even know.
That is true. I agree.
That's what it is.
That was your mom, and then it says this Reagan.
I think she must have Reagan got. I know Reagan didn't put that.
I know Reagan didn't put that. My mom put that.
Yeah, right. I was amen in the first one, going, wow, Reagan's pretty mature for her. But anyway, I'm done ranting. But I'm just telling you, it ain't a black thing. It ain't a white thing. It's a sin thing. Sin.
No, that's true. It is.
Yeah,
sin is sin. But because you're right. It ain't no but. Sin is sin. But I'm gonna stop saying but.
Yeah.
Sin is sin.
The end.
And See, I'm not
Love
refuting.
is love. Real love is what it is.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, it's an action word. So when I say love one another, when Jesus said love one another, he doesn't mean tell somebody you love them. It means show it. Do it.
And I don't know what people expect from the government to do about the white supremacists and the white.
They should. They
what?
need to lock them
arrest
up.
them. I mean, you arrest them when they do wrong processing,
Right.
but they're people just like everybody. Believe it or not, there are white people who think us doing the Black Lives Matter movement is just as crazy as these white supremacists.
Well, I mean,
like on all ends, they think Black Lives Matter movement is just as crazy and racist as white supremacists.
it depends on the movement. Depends on who the people are. It's not the movement. It's not the black. It's not the white. It's the person and what they stand for and what they're there for. Some of the Black Lives Matter people are there just to fight. Can I get violent? The white people, they're there to say black people are less than us, which we know that's just not the case.
Can y'all define the definition of racism?
So, some people, this is how I see it. And I'm going to say it because some people do believe that all people can be racist. I don't know about that. Like, okay, I'm not going to say I agree with y'all.
This would be my definition.
I can see both sides. Because some people say that, unless you're in a position to really affect some change in the government. And I've had this argument, yes, the government is mostly white because this America is mostly white. In the Senate, you got 80%, and then in the House, you got 90, or either way. But it's 90% white, and then you got one black person, and then 2 black people. Now, but it's more minorities, but that's the breakdown. Some people believe that racism can only occur by being in a place of power, that black people can't.
You're not defining what racism is.
I'm just giving the background.
No, to me, racism. I mean, I guess would be 2 definitions. I guess a basic definition of racism is when one race hates other races. I guess that would be racism, or strongly dislike. Me, I would say that racism is when a race of people uses their power to suppress another race or other races.
I'll take that.
Using the power that they have to
That's
suppress.
a big version, though. Let's start little. Let's go all the way down to a kid looking at another kid thinking, oh, okay, their color's different than me. I heard my daddy say they are niggers. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, that child thinks that person's less than them. Right there. That's racism. And it hasn't developed into a power, super oppressive power, but that's where it starts.
Hola, Uncle Greg Owens in the building.
That is where it starts. My child, I noticed, I said it on my Facebook too, I noticed the kids playing all colors, they don't notice on their own. They don't care what color.
Nobody cares.
Until they
hear
sharing. Something like their parents or usually the parents, or see something on TV that says, okay, that color's dangerous, or they'll rob you. They'll rob you. You know what I mean? My daughter didn't have a racist bone in her body until she went to school. And all of a sudden showed up, and I noticed she was saying little things. I'm like, hey, why does a 7-year-old think that the black person might be dangerous? What is that? We're driving down the road, and there's a guy going down the road, and because he's black, let's lock our windows. Who told you that? I mean, my gosh, and it starts that young. I had to get that out of her brain that young. She was literally 6 or 7.
And that's what I'm about to say. A lot of times people confuse racism with systematic racism, which is 2 different things. So sometimes people will say only white people can be racist in this country because only white people are in a position of power to hurt anybody. That's systematic racism. That's not systematic racism implies that yes, it is, because systematic racism implies there's a system in place to make sure that people not just stay racist, but people are suppressed and are what's the word for being judged against, prejudiced against? That's not right. But systematic racism is saying there's a system in place. There are things in place in the government, in the world, that makes sure a 6-year-old who never had anybody telling her that that means there's something, you go to school, there's something you're learning, or other people are saying that make you say this or think this. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like, that's the big difference, because I don't know if everybody can be racist or not. I've heard both, and I agree with both. So, you can, I can understand and comprehend that both. But
Yana, you gotta be careful. You're coming from a stance that's like the white people have the power, that they're the ones that are the systematic.
Here in America,
it's not even true. It is not true. When I go into a government office, not one person that works in there is white. Not one. And I feel racism towards me. Just telling it how it is. I'm not racist. I don't look at them and think, oh my gosh, there's not one white person in here, till I start noticing, oh, wait a minute. You know, me and the girls, my friends, went to McDonald's. This is two nights ago. We're going to go look at meteors, so we went to McDonald's to get drinks or whatever. Before then, the cashier, the drive-thru worker, told us they couldn't take any more orders. The system was down. And the next line full of gazillions of cars got their order taken. And I watched. I could tell what that was. That was racism towards me. I don't notice the color of the person at the drive-thru window, whether she's black or white.
But you notice
or he's
it,
black. I don't.
So when you see a human, you don't know. I don't know.
Just like I don't look at somebody naturally and go, "Wow, they are ugly as crap." I don't think like that. If they do something that catches my attention, that draws my attention to that, like pick their nose or something like that. You know, but that's me. I'm 45 years old. I grew up in the hood, man. I never have had a racist bone in my body that I can remember. Maybe when I was little, because like I said, with my child. But my mother had a lot in her. You know, my relatives, my uncles and stuff like that, you could tell they still do. And they you know, and I cut them off as soon as I hear it, you know. But I don't look at the color. I've noticed myself more in the past couple of years.
So what's wrong with noticing the differences between races?
Nothing's wrong with it. I'm saying I'm not doing it.
And I'm saying
no, you're calling me a liar. I'm telling you, I don't notice. I don't.
So you don't look and say, well.
I don't go, that's a black person. I don't. That's
like
not
saying,
my first
so when
thought.
you look at somebody, you don't see their gender first.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's the same thing. Gender and race. When you look at a person, you think female, black.
No,
male,
that's not.
black.
That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, you're gonna notice it anyway. Short hair, long hair.
I'm not gonna argue with you about it on your own on live, but I'm telling you, me. Mm-hmm. When I go to a drive-thru and I'm talking to the person, I am not looking at that person at all, thinking what color they are. Ever. I've never done it. But when she did that to me, my mind went, uh-oh. That was a racist thing, because she's now, when I was getting ready to pull out, she's serving all those other people. I've noticed it in myself, racism in myself in a way, the past couple of years, when I see a Middle Eastern person with a backpack or something. I'm worried they're going to chunk it and blow me up. You know? So I've noticed that in myself. Now that is what I'm saying is where racism starts.
He said, do you mean stereotyping?
Well, okay, yeah, because that is a different word. You don't stereotype when you look at somebody, which anybody cannot do that. Anybody can say, I'm not going to stereotype when I look at somebody, which is definitely, I understand that.
Yeah, stereotyping is a really good word.
My mom said most people in Memphis are black. And you live in Memphis.
So but I'm saying
that's true. But that's how I feel. I've dated a bunch of black girls in my time because I just didn't look for a white girl. I didn't look for a black girl. I looked for somebody I liked.
Well,
you know,
I guess it's not necessarily saying you don't see the color, but you don't make an assumption based on the color that you see.
Yeah,
like,
there's no reason to point out the color.
Exactly.
That's what I'm.
Well, that's
what
true.
I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when I drive up to the drive-through, I don't think about that at all. When
that's not something you look.
You know, your brain goes, okay, they have brown skin. Your brain sees that, just like it sees, okay, the sky's blue today, or the grass needs to be cut, or the grass is green. But you also don't focus on those things unless they're something to focus on. Like, you know, the government saying, hey, we're going to cut your yard and charge you $100 because your grass is too tall. Then you get to focusing on your grass. You know, racism starts in the area like I'm talking about with myself when I see a Middle Eastern person with a backpack or a bag of some sort, and I get a little nervous, you know?
Well, that's making your mind make an assumption about people when you see them. Yeah. And that starts with stereotyping. And then we learned this in Facing History. So I agree with some of the stuff, even though, you know, a lot of stuff in class I didn't agree with. But this is what I did agree with. I guess the levels to it would be like stereotyping would be first. So you look at a person and you make an assumption about them because of what you see. Then prejudice would be when you make an action because of the assumption you made about a person, which means you avoid this person.
Or
like
you
see
refuse them service.
Yes, you refuse them service. That's being prejudiced. And then racism is when you do things that will keep them suppressed under the race that you have because you can do that. And I guess in America, not all races have the power thing. I mean, you may do things that, you know, show that, you know, you dislike a certain race,
right?
But that doesn't necessarily make you a racist.
I agree. That's what
I'm saying. That the only reason why we're able to, because we are such a minority. It's only 12% of us here. So that's why I'm saying that white people are in a position to systematically oppress another, and they have. Suppress.
Well, was it your mom that said
they can?
That I'm in Memphis and it's mostly all right. That is true. It's not like that
everywhere.
Right.
Just like out there,
true.
we got. I believe the whole population is 60.
It's like
70%.
Basically we got 15
pretty much,
or 12
but
or 13.
to us in Memphis, it's like we see black people everywhere. It's
because it's majority black. But in other cities, it's not majority black. So I guess when you look at it like that, but if you look at it as a total, most of the people who are in charge of maybe not necessarily a government office, like working there, is there such thing as non-systematic racism? Yes, that's regular racism. Yeah. Systematic racism is things that in place, like I guess in the 90s or early 2000s, they had a 3-strike rule, which means like, you know, 3 strikes and you go to jail, or they lock you up for selling drugs or having drugs and stuff like that.
Or segregation, school
segregation. Or what they're saying they're doing now, and they're saying that they're making the conditions, when usually people of minority try to vote, they'll make the conditions for them to vote really hard, which is what they're starting to do now.
Stuff like that, when you look at it, it comes out as something that's for everybody. Mm-hmm. Like everybody has this. But if you look at the proportions of the people who are affected by it, it's majority minority or majority black, as opposed to like Jim Crow. Yeah, but that was systematic. Jim Crow was more forward.
Yeah,
nowadays,
systematic.
Black people have gotten smart enough to notice just flat out racism at a restaurant or something. Black people have got smart enough to recognize flat out racism. So
it's more backseat.
I don't know what that say.
They also call the gerrymandering. I don't know what that means.
Could you explain what that is?
I never heard that before.
What was I about to say? But yeah, so then
if we can fix a whole lot of the systematic racism by putting non-racists in power.
Exactly. Who don't perpetuate the systems that
But the thing
cause
is, because
racism.
this place is predominantly most people who are, and there are some racist black people against, and it's so backwards. How could you be racist against your own race? Technically, you can't. But there are some who they're black and they don't like black people, and they vote for the races and people there as well. But because the country is predominantly white, they're more at liberty to vote for somebody that is.
But we are moving in an upward progression, because they did show that in the last election, the majority of the people from 18 to 25 who can didn't vote for Trump.
Because
the majority of the
most people aren't.
And when you look at, you got to look at the age. So I guess you're looking at.
But Trump is not racist.
I don't think he's a racist.
He's not racist at all. He is the reason why everybody's hating on him up there. The Democrats are hating on him because he isn't one of them. The Republicans are hating on him because he isn't one of them. He's going, what did I get myself into?
Yeah,
I don't even see people. Yeah, Donald Trump. He's got his problems.
Yeah, definitely.
But people definitely make that man out to be way worse.
Here's the deal. Here's what I got to say about it. Tear down all the statues you want. Whoopee. I don't care about statues. It's the people hurting each other that is the problem. And if we could get morals in this country where we look at a person for the actions that they create, what they do instead of what they look like. Look at me. I'm a fat slob, but I'm cute as crap. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't look at me and see what you see. See my personality inside that makes everybody laugh. Y'all know? That guy, because I don't look like I'd be that guy. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't like my little girl looking at the black guy going on the road and being, oh, we need to lock the door, roll up the window. That's what's got to go. It's got to go from the beginning. Black people need to look at white people as their brothers and sisters. White people need to look at black people as their brothers and sisters. That doesn't mean they're not black. They can't be proud to be black, and they're not white, and they can't be proud to be white. That's stupid to think that they're the same thing.
The people creating the problems. That is. Oh, that's Julian. What's up, Julian in the building?
No, he ain't one lot. It's the people who create the problems. Yeah.
Has the church did more?
No, they ain't done nothing
to promote or defeat racism. Well,
they've sat on their butt.
That's what
if you look at Sundays at 11
nothing.
are they say is the most segregated time in the country because majority of the country is Christian, and white people go to their church and black people go to their church. So if you look at it from that necessary standpoint,
black music, white music,
it doesn't promote racism, but it doesn't promote integration. It promotes segregation. Then if you look at how in the 60s, the church, especially for black people, were the forefront of, the movements. So how do we fix that? Well, the church, I guess for black people,
if the church is more invested in the community
and social issues just social issues in general, not just jump up when it's a race issue, but are focused on it promotes prejudice. Yeah. If you promote church being involved in social issues that doesn't just include race and includes community, then I think that will help fix the problem.
If you're invested in they're not invested in their community. That's the problem. They stay in their four walls from Sunday, don't really say anything about the social issues, and the most they will do is they might, not about race. For some reason, that's a subject we like to not touch, and because we don't want to offend anybody, we don't want to step on any toes and say something that somebody might not agree with, because for some reason race has been excluded out of spirituality. I don't know how, but it happened. And now we say, well, then I'll just make sure that we talk about stuff that might get us more traction.
More offering.
Because most God-fearing Christians...
More views on YouTube. And on your broadcast on TV.
I'll get more views on broadcast on TV if I speak out against the gays. When you don't even... It's all sin. I'll get more views if I speak out about transgenders, because that's what's popular now.
When... I'm not going to name the church because it's a very huge black church. It's very successful, very big
in the country?
Here in town.
Oh, okay.
And I helped them a lot with their sound and lights and stuff, and design their system and put it in and all that stuff. And I was invited to their service. And, of course, I didn't think twice. Yeah, man, I'll come to your service. So I'm sitting in there. In the whole service, the pastor, it was really a race war against the one white guy sitting in the building. It was like they were going to say everything they could to let me know how oppressed, suppressed, oppressed, suppressed,
I always get
oppressed.
confused with the pressed.
Not impressed with that whole church full of black people was by me, my people. And I was like, what in the world?
We gotta stop with the white man.
Yeah.
And I said, but it's jokingly. I don't say it like the white man's got like, because for some reason
I'm a white man.
There are some. Oh, we gotta wrap it up because we almost at our limit.
All right, one thing, because I'm never on here. All right, one of the biggest. I don't want everybody to think I'm anti-black by any means, because obviously I'm not.
I'm over here with two black kids.
And they're behind me. I'm scared. Okay, anyway. I mean, look. Thugging.
He's clearly thugging.
All right, anyway, look, we'll make it quick. But, church, I won't even say how big it is because it's pretty big. But in a white church, I know because I sat at a dinner meeting with the pastor, the associate pastor, and some of the staff. They were moving, leaving their beautiful building they had paid for because the neighborhood had more blacks and Mexicans and they needed to get to a more white neighborhood. They were saying this stuff in front of me. I was like this going, I'm going to strangle some Christian folks, you know.
Your dad is outside.
You know, so anyway, all right, well, it starts.
I want you to continue this point.
And they did. They bought this killer building, and now, of course, the black church has this nice, cool building that they got for a whole lot less than, which I laugh about because it's like God used their stupid decision to bless this body of believers. We need the love of God, the real love of God, not the church preacher preaching what people want to hear, love of God, not the, oh, if I say this, I'm going to rile up all my people and they'll give to my black people rule movement or whatever, you know what I mean?
We have all been programmed.
Yeah, exactly. We need the love of God. That's what we need to reprogram ourselves. If it starts with us, with me, I'm working on myself with the Middle Eastern thing, the nervous thing about that.
I ain't gonna lie, me too, because
Yeah.
it hadn't put it so much in my head, like I can't even help it. If I see the hijab, I'll be like,
yeah. I mean, and look, I'm not gonna say that if I'm walking down on Bill Street and there's 6 black dudes behind me and I hear them kind of giggling or something, then I ain't gonna keep an eye out because you're stupid if you don't. But guess what? If it was 6 white dudes and I had the same thing behind me, I'm going to keep an eye out. And, you know, my studio here in the hood, you know, I keep an eye out. There ain't no black people. Well, yeah, there is next door. But there's not really many. It's like Mexico, you know, around here. It really is. And I keep an eye out. I'm not prejudiced. I'm like, you know.
You said they give you a choice to get either the red or the blue pill. Nice Matrix reference.
I like that.
But we're going to go ahead and wrap this video up.
Yeah. Thank y'all
Thank y'all
for
for sharing
sharing.
this video. We do want to hear what you guys
Wow.
think because apparently y'all was just listening the whole time.
Sorry for talking so much.
Not as many comments as we normally have, but hopefully y'all guys get
Because
it.
the white dude wouldn't shut up. That's what it is.
No, they probably didn't want to comment because a lot of people are pretty ignorant about this thing.
Okay,
you know what
make
I'm
sure
saying?
y'all guys go to our YouTube channel. It will be on our YouTube channel tomorrow.
Also, this is my studio.
How would
They're
Jesus
in here.
address racism? That's a good question.
He said, love one another.
Amen. Love it a lot. Thank you so much, Brian White.
Thank you. Good to see y'all. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too.
Oh, now y'all come in. Okay, when we're leaving.
Yeah, they must be
It's a trick.
They was just missing. They trying to keep us on here.
They think we're cute.
They just want to keep us on here. We finna go.
We finna go. They love to do this whenever we finna go. Shield him from the public eye.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all.
He's like, man, he uncovered my head.
No one's ever seen that before. Okay, share. See y'all later. All right, y'all share this video.
Share this video. Make sure y'all
it.
like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Personal Praise. Go to our YouTube channel, Personal Praise TV. Go to our website at My Personal Praise. When the video for what?
This, when will it be posted on YouTube? It'll probably be posted tomorrow.
Yeah. make sure you guys go to our YouTube channel. You can see other lives that we posted, some more lives, live at 5s. Make sure that you go to our website if you want to book us, mypersonalpraise.com. You can also go find our single, The Call, everywhere. Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Tidal, all of that, Apple Music.
How do you do that? Fast.
All of those places.
It's a spill. Slow down, Tess.
All right, we got to go because it's like 4 seconds left. All right, we'll see y'all later. Bye.